I'm so sorry, y'all. My grandma had called me. But yeah, I truly feel like these are things that we have to notice from the beginning. And I know that I'm just kind of rambling in this video, but these are all the things that transpire if you do not trust yourself as a woman. And I feel like that is with most things in your life. Like if you do something, if you're doing something and you know it isn't right, like eventually you're gonna hate it, you're gonna resent it. um so it's best to just always, trust yourself with anything that you do. um but yeah, you have to trust yourself, or else you find yourself in these situations where it's like, okay, you just gave this person a year, 2 years, whatever, how many, 10 years, 20 years of your life, and then it's just, over, and you're just left just to sit and think and ponder, like, wow, I knew this from the beginning, you know? And it's not like the signs are not there, you know? They don't have to just be aggressive, but the signs are always, they're always there. You just have to really, really, trust yourself. You have to trust yourself as a woman, or else you will find yourself again in a tough reality that, you can only truly trust God for. Um, yeah, you will find yourself in just toughness all the way over. And I feel like that's kind of where that like survival mentality comes from, because it's just a tough reality that personally I'm in right now, because I did not trust myself. It's not that I didn't trust my family, but it's just my, we were young, so it's just whenever, you're in love when you're young, you're just like, okay, nobody can tell me nothing, like, um so we're like, okay, you just think that, he's whatever, um my grandma and my papa, they used to tell me, my papa anyway, rest his soul, he told me, he looked at me, I'll never forget, he told me, he told me, I'm sorry, y'all. He told me, he looked at me, he told me, you're gonna hate him one day. The day, he was like, you're gonna hate the day you met him one day. I'm like, yeah, whatever, you know. And it's just like that day has came. That day has came several days that I truly felt that I hated this person. Um, and I know that in relationships, you get into arguments, or, you get into disagreements, or, things are just not going how you wanted them to go in the relationship. Um, you know, you get these feelings of, you know, hurt or something with them, but you, what am I trying to say? I feel like they're different. They are on different levels, you know. Like if you're ever truly like, I hate this person, like, but it's over something small, you know what I mean? Um, but I don't feel like you should be saying that you hate someone and like you actually feel hate, you know. I know that sometimes people just talk out of the moment, which is truly immature. Um, and we feel things, you know, in the moment, which is normal human emotion, right? We might feel mad in a moment, or, you know, upset, sad, hurt, um, but we should never hate someone in a moment in our relationships, you know. And especially, we shouldn't have that moment where we feel like we hate someone over and over and over and over, you know. Um, I feel like when you get to those points, I think that's when you should just give the relationship a quits, because when you get to that moment when you feel like you hate them, I feel like that's when things kind of just start going downhill from there. Because they can do things to piss you off, you know, but when it's like, okay, you hate, like, just something about them, um, and you just really hate them in the moment, you know, I feel like that's super dangerous in a relationship. And eventually, if you guys again keep having multiple days or multiple occasions where you hate them, like all of the love and everything is just like thrown out the window, like you really hate them in a moment, I feel like you should never return, but you should never, it should never get to so many different days, because it's only going to get worse. The arguments are only going to get more volatile. That person is only going to get more volatile. Um, or they just continue to do the same things that made you hate them. Like, it don't even have to just be with their anger, but, you know, if you tell them something and they're not, you know, on your side, you know, things like that. Um, you know, you could tell them something good or bad, and they always find a way to play devil's advocate. Like, you know, and that truly hurts your feelings. If that truly hurts your feelings, that you can never tell your partner something without them kind of, if you tell them something good, they dim your light. If you tell them something bad, then they agree with the other side. You should never have to experience those things over and over and over in a relationship. Um, you know, and yeah, you should never have to experience those kind of days, those kind of feelings in a relationship, because you know, you start to just think like, okay, is this person really my person, you know? And when you get to those thoughts, I feel like 9 times out of 10, like they're not your person. You just want to, you know, hang on to them, maybe because you're comfortable, or, you know, maybe it's been a long time, you know, they met all of your family, you don't want to start over, all of these different reasons. Um, but those reasons don't even matter at the end of the day. Whenever it is actually over, you guys both um, say that, okay, this is over, you know, you guys go no contact. Um, None of that matters, because then it's over. And, you know, men don't have, most men, I'm not going to say all of them, but most men, I feel like they don't have that same kind of emotional way of going about things as we do. Um, because for me, again, I have two sons and they're small sons. So I I am like I'm one of the parents. I'm like, okay, I don't want my children to have I don't want them to meet a lot of different men, you know. I don't want to have too many people, around them. I want them to, always be around people that they're comfortable with. They don't have to, you know, meet this person and wonder if, 6 months down the line, they'll never see this person again, things like that. So, um, I just never wanted that for, my sons. So, even in the way that this happened with me and my ex, um, it was like a part of me still wanted to hang on, that we would always, come back together, right? But even after all of the, horrible things that transpired in our relationship, like, I still felt a little piece of, like, hope. But so we went no contact, and I went no contact because I gave him a ultimatum, and I told him, either we are going to commit to this relationship. You know, they we are only going to focus on, each other, because it was just a lot of turmoil going on, just surrounding us in general, around that time, and our relationship again. And I'm just like, either we're gonna like really do this, because with me and him, it's like we would be like, okay, we're together, and then we would like break up, or like we would just stop talking, you know. Um, like the conversations will get dull. That's what I mean. Um, you know, we would have like a good day, a super good day, and then it would be like a bad day, and you know, just things like that, right? And so, yeah. So, again, we went no contact, and but he would still, um, call our sons. He was still involved with the boys. Okay. Um, so anyway, I found out that he is moving in with a girl after about 2 months of us going, like, not really speaking to each other at all, and that truly hurt me, because again, we always had the same values on uh how we would handle the boys. If we were ever to really split, then he wouldn't just introduce a random chick around my boys. I would have just introduced a random guy around their sons, right? Around his sons. So it was just a lot that it was a lot to take in. Whenever he finally had told me, um, and yeah. So I feel like whenever you do things like that, like for me in a breakup, like since this is the father of my children, like I did always think, okay, um, if I want forever with you, then if I want forever with you, then I know that I'm going to have to, you know, get over some things. I already have that expectation. Um, but I never had the expectation to find out you're living, you moved in with another person, you know? Like, that's to me the equivalent of having a baby. If you move in with someone. Like, that's the equivalent. Um, like, the equivalent of that is him really beating your ass, like, to where you're going to the hospital or something like that. Like, stuff like that, you cannot come back from, to me. Um, so, yeah. So, I'm like, okay, wow, it's really over. So, it really broke my heart. I'm not gonna lie, it really broke my heart. I was crying um, for days, like boo-hoo crying, like shoulder bounce crying. Okay, it was so bad, right? And during all of that, like, I just really had to process a lot of things, because I never, I never thought that um, I never thought that we would not be together truly anymore, but I never thought to live in an unhappy life either for the rest of my life. And I feel like had that breakup, had that true breakup never happened, had he never um, did what he did at the end, like as moved in with a girl, or got a girl pregnant, or just anything crazy like that. Like, had he never did that, I would never truly be like, okay, no, I can never go back to that, you know. Um, you know, so yeah, what was I saying? You can't come back from things like that. And again, but I never wanted to live an unhappy life either. And it's like the things that he did not change. Like, it's not that I was accepting those things on purpose, but I'm like, okay, eventually he's going to change these things, you know. Um, but it's just, if that eventually never came, okay. Um, that eventually never came, and it's just, I spent that entire relationship. We had good times, of course. We had some really great times, but we had also really bad times. And so, really times that he made me uncomfortable, that he made me scared of, that I was like, okay, like, I don't know if I can do this, like, um, or, just those type of feelings. Like, and those are all, intuitions that we have, and we should walk away during those moments, especially when it's a lot of them, and it's like your state of mind is permanently there. We should walk away. Um, if you do not trust your intuition, you will regret it. You are going to regret not trusting yourself from the beginning of a relationship, whether the relationship works out or not. You are going to end up regretting that entire situation. You are. If you do not trust yourself from the beginning of a relationship, you will regret it. You always see those older couples, um, you know, and if you ask an older woman, sometimes, what she would have did different, or just things like that. Like, they tell you that they probably would have left the relationship. They probably would have did more of what they actually wanted to do. Their lives would probably be completely different. But because they hung on to a relationship and a guy that was not, that they already knew that they were not truly meant to be with, then they wouldn't feel that way. And I don't feel like God would send you anyone that makes you literally just get the ick. Like, God would not send you that person. Um, you will, you know, it won't be that way. It won't be that way. So, again, you will eventually start to regret him, the relationship. You'll start to feel like you're stupid for choosing somebody like that. And then you'll start to feel even more stupid whenever you're like, okay, I'm continuing to stay in this relationship. Oh, this is my life. You know, you will start to feel like you're a dumbass. And then it's just like that reflects on your self-esteem. And and then it's just you stop taking care of yourself because you're feeling like you're stupid. Like, you just start to feel just horrible. Like, and that all happens whenever you do not trust yourself from the beginning of a relationship. You have to trust yourself from the beginning of a relationship.